let's do a seed haul. So I ordered some seeds from So Right Seeds a few weeks ago, and there was specifically one variety that I was looking for, but then when I went through their catalog, I was like, well, let me pick up a couple more things. So I'm going to show you what I got. First off was a winged bean. This is what it looks like. And in my last garden, Zone 9B, I remember trying to grow winged beans maybe once, possibly even twice, but I never got to harvest anything. So I figured this is a really cool variety that I don't have seeds of, and I would love to grow this one in my garden now. So on the back it says, unique pods give this variety an interesting shape with 4 flat sides resembling wings. The entire plant, from leaves to flowers to pods and beans, are edible and have a high protein content as much as soybeans, and you can use them in stir fries, soups, or even fresh in salads. I personally don't know what they taste like, but I'm excited to try them. And it says they only germinate in about 7 to 14 days, so they should be popping up pretty soon. And this one vines up, so you do need a trellis to support that vertical growth. So because of that, I want to find the perfect spot for it. I have so many different areas that I can use to grow this up vertically, and I just think it is such a cool variety to add to my garden space. So that's the first one that I picked. Next, I grabbed a painted serpent cucumber, and this is what it looks like. Doesn't that look so cool? This is an Armenian style cucumber. In the past, I've grown the white Armenian cucumbers, and those were and still are my favorite cucumbers to grow, even though technically they're a melon, just because they handle the heat so well, they don't become bitter. And my family, my husband, has been asking me for those with this garden. He's like, make sure that you plant those, okay? So I was like, well, let me try and grow those and a couple of others. So this one says that it is exceptionally mild and tasty without any bitterness. The striped fruits can reach up to 3 feet, but are best when harvested while still tender at 8 to 18 inches. Isn't that crazy? I remember harvesting some Armenian cucumbers that were huge, and they were delicious. During the summertime, my favorite thing to do was just to wash them. I wouldn't even peel them or anything. And then I would just sprinkle lime juice on top, and then some salt, a little bit of tapatio, and just chomp at them like that. Oh, they were some of my favorite, and I cannot wait to grow them again. I already started a few seeds of the white Armenian cucumbers, some of which I had left over from some packs, and then others that I saved over the years. But I'm gonna plant a lot more, and I'm gonna continue to succession plant them along with other Armenian cucumber varieties, because I know that there's a couple of different ones. With this one, you can grow it up a trellis, that way the fruit grows a little bit straighter, and that's my personal favorite way to grow them. I have an arbor for my grapevines, Arch Rose Claire, and that's where I'm gonna plan to grow these. Yeah, I'm really excited for those. The next seed packet that I picked up was the all sweet watermelon. And honestly, I do have a ton of watermelon seeds, but watermelon just happens to be one of those fruits that my family is obsessed with. It's my husband, for years and years, pretty much a decade, refused to try watermelon. He was very picky about fruit, and suddenly one day he was like, you know what, let me just give it a shot. Let me try a little bit. Now he is obsessed with watermelon. His favorite way to eat it is, you know, cubed up, and then a bunch of lime juice on top of it, and then salt. Sometimes he puts tahini, but because he's obsessed with watermelon, he can eat an entire half of a watermelon in one day. I want to grow as much watermelon as possible, because not only does he love it, but my kids love it too, and I love it. And it's just one of those fruits that doesn't last very long here at home, and if I were to grow it myself, I know that I could just harvest really cool varieties, and I could pick them when they're super sweet. Honestly, I would probably have him go check them to see whether they're good or not, because even at the grocery store, I'm horrible with selecting watermelons. I always get the ones that are not that great on the inside. They're not always the sweetest, but he, for some reason, has a real talent with choosing the best watermelons ever. So this, anyways, that was a long explanation, huh? This one says, all sweets have thick green striped rinds that protect its juicy, crisp red flesh. Produces relatively few seeds, and they average between 17 inches to 19 inches and weigh 25 pounds or more, so there's plenty to share. That's like a personal size watermelon for my husband. And right now is a really good time for me to be planting watermelon. I've already got a few sugar baby seeds in the ground. Nothing has popped up yet. I think a big part of that just has to do with the birds, most of which I literally see walking around the garden beds. Not only are they searching for red wriggler worms and earthworms, but a lot of the times they're pulling up my seeds. And yeah, they're not scared of me. So, I mean, I just kind of have to deal with them. So I'm always constantly planting more seeds than I think I'll need, just because I'm aware of the fact that the birds are probably going to snatch a couple of them. But this is what this watermelon looks like. Look how pretty that is. Next up is Tromboncino winter squash. This variety I have grown before. I know it as zucchino rampicante, but it is also called Tromboncino. And I have a few seeds left, but this variety in particular was one of my favorite to grow. Not only because it is such an interesting shape, look at that. It can grow to be super, super long. I love growing this on trellises because it is just such a striking plant. But I also love the fact that it tolerates the heat very well, and I didn't have too much pest pressure with this variety. In my last garden, now keep in mind this wasn't zone 9B, but in my last garden, I struggled to grow different types of squash. I struggled to grow pumpkins. Not only was the heat a huge factor, but just pest pressure in general was horrible. And this one, I have to check it out, but it might be a moschata type squash. And if that's the case, that's probably one of the reasons why it's, you know, a lot more pest resistant, especially to the vine borer. It says it's a delightful squash with a unique long neck, bulbous end, and deep orange flesh. It's similar in taste to butternut squash, but with its long neck, one squash can feed a crowd. You can harvest it immature for a very sweet summer squash, and it grows on a vining plant. For me personally, I didn't really harvest this one when it was fully ripe. My favorite way to harvest it was when it was still green, just because I grew up eating a lot of calabacita. So like just the regular, you know, that soft, not that soft. I grew up eating a lot more summer squash than winter squash. So this one, you can eat it as a summer squash, but if you want to preserve it for a little bit longer, then you can do it as a winter squash. But I just like savory dishes a lot more than sweet. So my favorite way to use it was when it was still green, and you do get a lot from this squash. One of my favorite dishes that I made with this squash was misiotes, and now I'm starting to crave them because that would be delicious right now. Okay, now these last seeds are the same type of vegetable, but they're just different varieties, and this is the whole reason that I even placed the order in the first place. This is what I was searching for, and that is soybeans. I have two different varieties here. The first one is Karikachi soybean and Chiba green soybean. And the reason that I purchased these is to grow my own edamame. I've been itching to plant them, but I wanted to show you first before I went ahead and did that. They're going straight into my fanny pack, okay? Because this is the next crop that I want to get in the ground. Before I tell you how I like to cook my edamame, let me just tell you that with this vegetable, one thing that I've learned online, because I've never grown it before, is that it is one that produces well, but it only produces once. After I harvest my first round, I'm immediately gonna pull the plants out, pop some new seeds in, and then do as many rounds as I can before it gets too cold here in zone 7B, because that's where I garden now. That's why I wanted to make sure that I picked up several of these, and then at the end of the season I want to save as much seed as possible, because edamame is my family's favorite snack. It's my favorite snack. My favorite thing to do, especially when it's been a stressful day, is to put on Gilmore Girls and have a container full of edamame. My favorite way to cook it is I get a pot of water, I salt it, I put it to boil. Once it starts simmering and boiling, I toss my edamame in there, and then once my edamame is in there, I let it, you know, warm up, get all nice and delicious, and then I drain it. And while it's still hot, I whip up a sauce, and if I'm being totally honest with you, I have a container of the sauce already pre-made, so I can just scoop some into there. But this sauce is made up of miso paste. My favorite to use, you can use red or white, but I like using the red a little bit more. I like to use some red miso paste, and in there I have a little bit of MSG, some soy sauce, some maple syrup, and I'm talking like that maple syrup that you buy at Costco, some red pepper flakes, and some garlic powder. I whisk it together until it gets a little bit more runny, and it is so freaking good. So I'll take a few tablespoons of that. The spicier I want it, the more red pepper flakes I add in there. And when I'm tossing the edamame with that sauce, I add just a little bit of the water that I steamed it in, or that I, you know, simmered it in, and I toss it together. I put it in this Tupperware and I just shake it and shake it until everything is coated. And when I tell you, it is so delicious. It is savory. It has umami flavor in it. It is spicy. And then it has a little bit of sweetness that sort of balances out the umami and the spice. It is just so delicious. It's a little bit sticky, but it is so good. Literally, sometimes if my husband and I are having a night where we're just going to be like watching a show or watching a movie together, we'll have our little bowls of edamame and a bag so that we can put all of the shells in there, and we're just chomping at edamame, and it's so delicious. It's my favorite snack ever, and I'm craving it right now just talking about it. But I have to show you how I make it, and because it's our new obsession, I had to grow my own soybeans. Plus, the Costco's near us don't carry this big bag of soybeans. So whenever we're visiting family down in the valley, we stop by Costco any chance we get, and we just stock up. We'll buy like 3 or 4 big bags of edamame at a time, and then just store them in the freezer. So that's why I had to pick these up. And that's the seed haul.